They followed two brothers, twins, Choctaw and Chickasaw. The brothers also walked behind a sacred pole the Creator had given them. And every night when the people camped, they would bury the pole into the ground. And whichever direction the pole pointed in the morning, the people would continue looking for their new home. They walked for many years, and as they walked, if they needed supplies, if they needed to hunt or gather or grow things, they would stop and they would camp, live for a while. But eventually the pole would always lead east. They would pack up and continue. Hatak Noah, people walking. They walked for many, many years. They followed behind Ofitobi, the white dog. It was a large white dog. It was our guardian. It was a scout. If someone was bitten by a snake or injured themselves, the dog would lick the wound and they would be healed. Eventually they came to a great river, and they called the river Misasapokni, which means older than time, or without beginning. When they got to the river, the pole pointed across. So the people had to make canoes and rafts, anything they could to get themselves across the river. And it was a huge undertaking, for there were thousands of people walking. As they got the last canoe across, they saw a white dog, Ofitobi, disappear into the mist and the water of the Mississippi. And they say if you go there late, you can still hear him call to let the people know that he is still with us. Once they got to the other side and they set up their camp, the pole did the strangest thing in the morning. It didn't point in a direction. It began to vibrate. And it began to go in circles and go back and forth and wobble and go in all kinds of directions. And the people had a problem. One brother said this was a sign that they were in their homeland, that they had found their new home. Choctaw. Chickasaw said, no, this is a sign we must leave here. We need to continue on. And as the tribe had to have a consensus, and they couldn't reach one, they came to the decision that whoever thought Chickasaw was correct would travel with him and go on following the pole. And the other people would stay with Choctaw, and they became the Choctaw people. And the Chickasaw people went with Chickasaw. We traveled on, but eventually the pole pointed back and brought us back to our homelands. It was a long walk. There was another walk many, many years later, and it's why we wear what we wear, and I always like to explain to people so they might not understand the regalia. When we walked on the other walk, the Trail of Tears, as the Cherokee call it, or the Chickasaw people call it, removal, our ancestors were wearing these types of clothing. We wear them to remember the ancestors who fell and to honor the ancestors who survived so that we could carry on our traditions. So when you see our clothing, our regalia, it's not a costume. It's what we wear to represent our best, to remember our ancestors. It's something that we hold sacred. And my wish for you is that you find something sacred in your life to hold on to. Thank you very much. Chomashki.